The future holds corporate rule for all of us. Imagine a world where robots does everything for us. You don't even have to work anymore. Corporations are giving you X amount of money to survive each month. But you don't have to do squat shit. Barely even wake up by yourself in the morning. A world decaying in its own filth. Wouldn't it be pretty damn nice to put a sizable dent in the corporation's profits margin? You know, show them what real pain feels like. Well, exactly that is what you get to do in the brand new 1.0 release of the roguelike FPS Deadlink. Introducing a game that almost looks as good as it feels, blending cyberpunk aesthetics with near-apocalyptic future vibes and some gameplay that blows most shooter games through the roof with its quite poorly designed but truly awesome feeling weapons, abilities and upgrades that will have you flying through the arenas like Wonder Woman herself. So, what is Deadlink? Well, first of all, this is a roguelike, and I know that might throw some of you off, but hear me out on this one before you decide whether this is for you or not. The core loop is as you'd expect. It's a grind to become stronger and eventually finish a full run. You are this agency soldier, and you enter a deadly world via this secret gadget known as the Deadlink project. This neural connection allows soldiers to pilot an empty combat shell. Here, they will test its abilities in an urban fighting situation. However, once it is destroyed, the connection is lost and the only thing that remains is the tokens and credits that have been collected. This is Deadlink in a nutshell. It is a fast-paced title about destruction, loss, and starting again. And the vicious cycle, it may seem tedious, but the brutal and hectic gameplay is undeniably so hard to put down, and it is so incredibly satisfying to just slaughter everything! Now, we talked about taking control of an empty shell in this game, and they work more or less as a class in any other game, all starting with different loadouts and abilities. For example, the soldier shell starts with a shotgun and a rocket launcher, and for abilities, it has a grappling hook and a blind attack. Now, each of these classes has their strengths and weaknesses, but they all cater to different playstyles. So if you prefer or play better at long range, well, you better play as the hunter shell with a single fire pistol. Or if you like guns blazing and grappling yourself right into the action, well, the shotgun rocking soldier will be your go-to. Now, there is a total of 4 different shells that you can play with, and they all play vastly different from one another. However, you can't just choose which one you want from the get-go. You have to actually put your time and dedication in unlocking all of them. But hey, that's a further motivation to keep the grind going and unlock whatever you want to play with. Trust me when I tell you this, it's worth it. Once unlocked though, they can be further upgraded individually and somewhat tweaked, but it all requires your time and dedication to unlock everything that you want. And each shell has different amounts of armor and health to them. And health, it is not something that you can replenish in a run. Not unless you are at a store and ready to spend credits. However, armor you can replenish by marking enemies in various ways, like using abilities, melee or grenades. It all differs depending on your shell. But having marked an enemy and then killing it grants you armor, much like in modern Doom games. And this adds a level of depth to the combat that just makes it incredibly fun and challenging at the same time. Now we reach the highlight of any first-person shooter game, the weapons. And boy oh boy, these weapons, they deliver! We don't have a whole lot of weapons in the game, and I will not spoil all of them for you, as they do play a huge role in the game and how the game evolves as you unlock new shells. But even though we don't have a lot, they can all be upgraded and enhanced and tweaked in ways that makes you play with them in completely different ways than how you started off. For example, the shotgun can get both fire damage that explodes or sets enemies to fire, or an electric charge that bursts down from the sky, dealing damage to whatever hits it. And some enemies take more damage depending on the elemental damage and so on. Or heck, why don't you combine both fire and electricity in the same gun? Because that's totally doable, and this is just some of the upgrades you can do to your weapons. Not sure exactly how many more there are, but there is plenty of tweaks and upgrades, and I mean plenty. how do the weapons actually feel? Well, they feel fucking amazing, friends. Only real complaint I have is that they sometimes feel weaker than they should. The enemies, they sometimes feel like a little too spongy, making the weapons seem weak, especially the rocket launcher. It more often than not takes 2 to 3 rockets to make someone go poof. Happily though, I can tell you that the shotgun can deal just the right amount of damage if upgraded correctly. Just take a look at this slaughtering mayhem. Now I dare you to let me know in the comments that you did not think that looked satisfying and fun. And the guns, they do feel this amazing due to the fact that they have excellent animations to them, great audio design, and somewhat pleasable artistic design. I feel like they are a little too cluttered with wires and hoses, but overall it is a pass on the design as it fits the world and the whole shell concept really well. Now I can't forget to mention that the weapons can help you in your movement in the game as well. The rocket launcher, for an example, kicks you back so much every time you fire a rocket that you can use it to get away from danger, as an example. Or maybe make your mid-air flight even longer and higher. And honestly, it feels pretty damn good doing it. So as I touched on already, the gameplay is a grindy loop, with the goal of reaching the end. But to do so, you have to become strong enough to actually make it, with permanent upgrades that you unlock the more you play, and with temporary upgrades that are lost after each run. Now the permanent upgrades are as you'd expect: increased health, increased damage, take less damage, and so on, with some unique twists here and there. But where the fun really shines is in the non-temporary upgrades. They let you build unique builds for your character each time you play, depending on how kind the RNG gods are towards you and how smart you actually play the cards that are given to you, because every upgrade can have a beneficial perk no matter how bad the actual upgrade might be, if you put it in the right slot, that is. So every upgrade has a passive and an active upgrade to them. To unlock the active one, you must put it in the right slot with enough battery in it for it to actually work. And to activate it, you must actually do the task assigned to the battery that you put the upgrade in. It can range from using a skill or switching a weapon. It's nothing overly complex, but as for the passive, it always works no matter where you put the upgrade. And if played right, you can build some amazing builds that just amps up everything in the game to a euphoria of amazing fun. But that is to say that sometimes you can mess up your build completely, or may God forbid the RNG gods are not kind to you, making you almost want to abandon your current run. And this happening is just as possible as building an amazing build. Now sprinkled in amongst the sea of upgrades are also some twists and turns here and there, with shops that can be upgraded to sell even more upgrades, or for you to sell upgrades that you don't wish to have. You also got this gambling guide that lets you gamble your permanent upgrade points to either make you stronger or get nothing at all. And I freaking hate that guy, cause he always gives me crap. So how does it feel to move around in this game? Well, it does take some time getting used to, as you do start off with rather slow movement. Well, compared to a lot of games that I play on this channel at least. And taking in consideration how the levels are designed, you do actually feel somewhat slow. Because the levels are designed so that you enter a medium-sized arena with both verticality and jump pads scattered around. But sometimes it might feel hard reaching them and actually utilizing them to their fullest due to your slow movement. So honestly, I would have preferred just a snippet faster movement than is as standard. But it is somewhat made up for with upgradable movement speed and upgradable skills that can be used for movement. For an example, the grappling hook. Nonetheless, the levels and arenas are really well designed, each and every one of them feeling unique in their own way, even though if you play an arena in the same episode, they have the same aesthetics to them, making great use of both verticality, jump pads, movement, and really encouraging you to experiment with your gameplay. Now the enemies are for the most part walking or flying cannon fodder, but you will encounter some tank-like enemies throughout, and what makes them quite enjoyable is the fact that they all have different weak points that is more often than not essential for you to shoot at to take them down at a reasonable speed. Again, I will use the grapple as an example, as that is my favorite ability in the whole game. It's just so much fun! So this big guy right here has a weak spot on his back and a shield on his front. He is fast and there's no way for you to strafe around him. What you have to do is use your grapple that also stuns him, fly towards him, turn around to shoot him in his back. Simple, but so freaking effective.
Now you've done it, you fuck! Removing power limiters!
And this goes throughout the game, introducing new enemies in each episode of the game and a new boss at the end of every episode. And there is a total of 4 episodes in the game. Now the audio and the graphics feel like a fresh breath of air for me. Playing so many pixelated games as of late, this feels like a nice mix in the bag for me. It's rocking the Unreal Engine to create its world, and whilst it does not have any magnificent vistas to gaze upon, it does look good and is a perfect volume of detail. It doesn't feel hyper detailed, but it is enough to pique your interest and add upon the world's beauty. And accompanying you in this world is some well-composed, adrenaline-inducing cyberpunk music that in my ears just sounds fantastic. And truly fits the tone of the game, like a hand fits a glove, if it is the right size, that is. Now in conclusion, I would highly recommend this game. I think it is very fairly priced at $15. I would even still recommend it if it was at $20. I don't have much at all to complain about with the game, but before jumping into this, I want to emphasize again that this is a roguelike and you must know what you're getting yourself into when playing this. It is a grind, it is repetitive in some aspects, but what it does fantastic and it never once felt tedious for me. So now that you know that, go grapple your way into victory and have a fun time doing it. Hold up, I changed my mind. Before you go and do that, don't forget to check out these 2 amazing videos.